Voilà. L'ordre du jour appelle maintenant le débat dont je vous ai parlé dans mon intervention liminaire au début de cette séance. Le dernier point de l'ordre du jour appelle un débat autour du thème « Ville intelligente, les nouvelles technologies au service de la démocratie ». Je suis très content d'accueillir... Où est-ce qu'ils sont ? Ils sont devant toi. Pardon, ils sont devant moi. Je suis très content d'accueillir le maire adjoint de la ville de Tartu, M. Raimond TAMM. Tartu est la deuxième plus grande ville d'Estonie, avec une population d'un peu plus de 100 000 habitants. M. TAMM est le chef d'un projet qui s'appelle Interreg 4, intitulé « Vers une gouvernance électronique centrée sur le citoyen dans les régions et dans les villes européennes ». C'est également un fervent promoteur de la gouvernance électronique et de la participation électronique des citoyens de la ville de Tartu. Il va nous faire partager son expérience de l'utilisation par la ville et par ses habitants des nouvelles techniques dans le domaine des services publics, tels que les transports publics, l'aménagement du centre urbain. Je crois même que vous avez établi un système de distribution spéciale attribué électroniquement, de distinction spéciale attribuée électroniquement par et aux citoyens qui déblaient le mieux devant leur immeuble. Qui déblaient la neige, bien sûr, devant leur immeuble. Tartu a également été une ville pionnière depuis 2002 pour le paiement par téléphone portable de services locaux tels que l'achat de tickets pour le bus et les parcs de stationnement, ou encore l'envoi de textos lorsqu'il s'agit de travaux de maintenance ou pour les prêts de livres à la bibliothèque municipale. Sur le site web, que je vous invite, chers collègues, à consulter, sur le site web par ailleurs excellent de la ville de Tartu, on peut lire le slogan suivant, c'est le slogan qu'ils se sont donné, « La ville des bonnes pensées ». Nous sommes vraiment heureux de vous avoir parmi nous aujourd'hui pour partager quelques-unes de vos bonnes pensées sur les villes intelligentes. Monsieur TAMM, vous avez la parole.
So good morning, dear ladies and gentlemen. Please kindly receive warm welcome from the city of Tartu, which is indeed the second largest city in Estonia. Thank you very much for the possibility to participate in the debate and share my experiences and points of view regarding e-democracy and smart cities. In my speech, I will concentrate mainly on issues related to e-engagement, e-participation, and smart electronic and mobile solutions. Estonia is well known as one of the most advanced e-societies in the world. As a traditional university city and city of youth, in fact 50% of our inhabitants are less than 35 years old. The city of Tartu has always targeted to be as innovative as possible in the field of e-solutions and smart city activities. Collaboration between forward-thinking city government and proactive information and communication technology sector has resulted in wide range of e-solutions which are beneficial for local citizens. Discussion with citizens is essential. It is becoming more and more challenging for our city to raise interest and receive feedback from local citizens. Probably we have the same tendencies also elsewhere. In Tartu, we have clearly understood that nowadays, when people are overloaded with various information, it is possible to reach people more easily if the information is also somehow entertaining. Infotainment is actually what people more and more require from public sector. Therefore, we have to address extra efforts and resources to exploit modern technologies that could help us to communicate with citizens more efficiently. Despite that, I have to emphasize that usage of E&M solutions should never be an aim on its own. It should be also kept in mind that the E&M tools used to involve citizens should be as simple and easy to use as possible. Engagement has to become an inseparable part of everyday governance. But the success of the engagement process depends a lot on the choice of proper tools. We have to face the reality that the new generation does exist. The old times we had before the information society will never return. What we also have to acknowledge is the fact that social media gives people remarkably more power. Different topics and different target groups require different channels. For example, to engage younger generation, the E&M tools are often the most resultive tools to use. But in case of elderly people, traditional public face-to-face meetings might work much better than any kind of modern applications. When speaking about e-democracy and usage of E&M tools to involve local citizens, the most critical issues are definitely the rate of penetration for internet and mobile phones. Currently, it is evident that the penetration of mobile phones is increasing at higher speed compared to internet penetration. Therefore, I can foresee that development of mobile services and applications might be, in the future, the most efficient way to engage citizens. In case of local municipalities, it should be always the main challenge to serve its citizens in the best possible way. Therefore, also in Tartu, we are continuously working on the modernization of public services. The main aim is, of course, to make the public services for the citizens as easily accessible as possible. In Estonia, roughly 80% of the population aged between 16 and 74 years uses the internet, and about 71% of the households have internet capabilities. There are also more mobile phone contracts than residents in Estonia, 139 contracts per 100 people. Therefore, it's of course reasonable in our case to concentrate on development of E&M services. At this point, I would like to stress that availability of open data is one of the critical issues when development of efficient e-solutions is considered. Open data is the idea that certain data should be freely available to everyone to use and republish as they wish without restrictions from mechanisms of control. Easy and free access to necessary data enables municipalities and our collaboration partners to spend essentially less on the development of E&M services. Because of the given time frame, it's not possible for me to more in detail introduce different services that have been implemented in our city. But the services are covering the fields of public parking, public transportation, street lighting, different payments, communications with schools and teachers, library services, city council meetings, neighborhood watch, etc. There are also several developments that we currently have in the pipeline. For example, electronic information system, which could help to involve citizens in law-making process and let them initiate draft laws. We have also just started with preparations to implement participatory budgeting process in our city. It means that in the future, the citizens of Tartu will have the possibility to decide how to allocate part of municipal budget. Based on the experience we have received in Estonia, I have to admit that budgetary restrictions have to some extent affected the realization of e-solutions. Especially in case of smaller municipalities, the costs related to designing and piloting of new E&M solutions are quite often not reasonable compared to the expected benefits. In my opinion, there is a need to concentrate on more centralized development of E&M tools, which could be later on adopted by different municipalities with essentially lower and affordable costs. Therefore, I would like to highlight one of the recent developments which enables our city to work with a smart city concept even more systematically and intensively. In 2012, a new cluster called Smart City Lab was established in Tartu. The cluster is designed to create in Tartu an innovative environment which will boost the competitive ability of companies by bringing together businesses, citizens, public authorities, R&D institutions, and structures that support innovation. Smart City Lab operates as a test center or so-called living laboratory. The main activities comprise of planning, testing, and implementation of a range of E&M applications. The solutions created will be all scalable and will eventually be introduced in other towns and cities elsewhere in the world. Currently, I would like to point out some of the cluster activities which are also related to the present debate. For the first, we have started with mapping and analysis of the public services offered in the city of Tartu. Following the first discussions, we have agreed to concentrate on development activities related to contemporary technical networks and infrastructure, intelligent transport solutions, digital TV solutions, E&M services related to tourism and urban life, and last but not least, inclusive and effective governance services. The development activities are conduction of survey, development of demo solutions, and initial testing in the Living Lab. The creation of the Living Lab is in progress, and the aim is to reach a diverse community of at least 1,000 registered users. As we have altogether in Tartu 100,000 citizens, we are trying to involve at least 1% of the population in the Living Lab. Learning from each other's experiences is another reasonable way to introduce new E&M solutions. Recently, our city participated in an international project, eCitizen 2, towards citizen-centered e-government in European cities and regions. The main aim of the project was to support European cities and regions in their joint efforts to accelerate e-government through exploiting established networks, gained experiences and good practices. Improved interaction between citizens and public authorities and better involvement of citizens in local decision-making was also targeted in the frame of the project. One of the main outcomes of the project is Pan-European Best Practice Manual. In this tool, e-participation practitioners all over Europe share their best practices about the e-participation processes and tools implementation in the European cities and regions. All cities are welcomed to upload their own case study and share experiences with other experts. The online manual is publicly available on www.eparticipation.eu. As my last statement, I would like to point out that also political support measures addressed to designing, piloting and implementation of e-solutions could help to accelerate the process and finally will result in active, well-informed, participative and happy citizens. The possibilities are all in our hands. Thank you for your kind attention. Please remember that you are always welcome to the city of Tartu. Thank you.
Merci, Monsieur TAMM, de votre exposé, et je suis sûr que ça aura suscité quelques questions pour après. Je suis maintenant heureux d'accueillir Monsieur Ilmar REEPALU, j'espère que je ne prononce pas trop mal votre nom, qui est maire de Malmö depuis 1994. Outre ses fonctions de vice-président de Salar, il a présidé plusieurs commissions du Comité des régions, dont il a été longtemps le membre, et il a représenté l'Union européenne au sommet de Rio de Janeiro et de Durban. Il est connu pour son engagement en faveur d'une société durable et de l'amélioration des conditions de vie durables des habitants de Malmö. Malmö a été la première municipalité de Suède à introduire les e-pétitions, utilisant une méthode qui a pris le nom de Initiative Malmö. Monsieur REEPALU, à votre tour de vous exprimer devant les membres de la Chambre des pouvoirs locaux. Vous avez une dizaine de minutes.
Mr. President, dear fellows and friends and colleagues, I'm very happy to be invited here to tell you a little about how we are working with e-democracy in my city of Malmö. First of all, the background of this is, of course, that we fear what's happening among young people and their opinion about democracy. You know, we have these world value studies that are made in different countries in Europe, and they show, for instance, in my country, in Sweden, that about 24% of the people between 19 and 28 years, they feel that democracy is a bad or very bad way of running the society. The same value studies done in Europe in different countries varies between 25 and more than 50% of the young people that feel that democracy is not the right way of running the society. Of course, this shows young people that they feel excluded from the society. Of course, it's connected with a high rate of unemployment among young people, of course. What we are talking about here when we are having the elections for the city councils and for the regional councils, of course, that is the base for democracy. But it's also very important that the citizens feel that democracy is really something that handles the issues that are important for those. And of course, when we are also asking this world value study, the young people, some of them say that I could pay for my vote, or about the same amount that don't like the democracy say that I should prefer a very strong leader that don't have to take in notice of what they are saying in the council or in the parliament. Of course, this is a very dangerous situation for us. So that's the background for why we are also working with the e-democracy to see if that is a way to get better contact with the citizen. In Malmö, we have worked systematically and innovative for many years when it comes to different ITC solutions to enhance democracy and strengthening the citizen participation, and with a focus on young people, of course. ITC both comes when we are making services for the citizen much more convenient and accessible, but it also comes in different ways to get in touch with the citizen of Malmö and create a dialogue, and not only have the dialogue the months before the election, but having the dialogue during the 4-year period that you have between the elections. That is as important as having the very strong dialogue connected with the elections. Good governance and participatory democracy is based on an active citizen dialogue. And yesterday we could hear Katarina Wallenberg from Huddinge talked about how they are working with getting young people much more involved in the decision-making process. It's not to shift over the importance of the decision-making. The decision-making must be made by the elected persons. But this is a way to get the elected persons to get a dialogue, a deeper dialogue with the citizen before the decisions are made. The Malmö Initiative is a platform on the web where the citizen can raise own suggestions or proposals or make comments on other suggestions. But it is not a decision-making body, but a forum to prompt opinions and debate regarding various political issues. Anyone can discuss, make suggestions, or just follow the debate. An important thing about the platform is that you can support the initiatives of others and show that there are many more people who share your opinion and in a particular issue. Even we, the elected politicians, can in that way take part of the Malmö Initiative. And of course, when you see that many people have about the same opinion, then this is a commitment for the committee, the relevant committee in the city, to take up that proposal for debate or for decision. Of course, they don't have to follow it, but when you have 100 persons that has the same opinion, they have to take it up on the committee that has an open meeting. That means that people feel that their way of thinking, their proposals are handled in a way, and then they can accept, of course, that it doesn't go their way, because they can hear the discussion, they know about my thinking, and I can accept that the majority thinks in another way. That is the most important part of having this dialogue. So the Malmö initiative enables both the citizens and politicians to raise various issues for online debate and discussions. And through the initiative, we politicians can have the possibility to adopt interesting proposals, to raise them within our own party, of course. The Malmö initiative was one of the first of its kind in Sweden, but of course the activity varies over the time. There has been an uneven stream of proposals, and only a few of them comes from the more resource-strong part of the society. And that is, of course, important, that this is not the way for people with all the possibilities to make their voice heard, to get even a stronger voice in this way. But, of course, there's things that we can be better in also. I believe that it's very important, when you have had these proposals coming up, it's very important to then give back, how did you use this? What was the result of it? So that the people that make the effort of taking part of that also get back, this was the way it was used, this went to a decision, or this was not taken up as a decision. Another tool for enhancing democracy I would like to share with you is called the Malmö Panel. The Malmö Panel originates from an invitation to a number of citizens in Malmö, chosen from a statistical point of view, 1,600 participants of the city. And we can use this panel to have their voice heard on different issues. That means that the different committees, for instance, when they have a discussion of locating a special sport field on that side or that side of the road, then we can have in a short way, having this opinion coming back. And that means that we can know that this issue, here we must deepen the discussion and deepen the debate, or invite parts of the panel to come. The panelists who are giving the vote, they are anonymous in that way. We only get to know what was the vote of the 1,600 panelists, so we know the opinion in that way. This, of course, is a way for us to see or meet earlier different streams that we have in our society. I can give you an example of how we have been using this. For instance, we had a discussion of using cameras on roads that were affected by quite a lot of criminal offences. And there was a lot of political discussion. Is this an issue for integrity for the local citizen and the visitors, or do they accept that we use the cameras as a tool to solve more of the crimes? After having this out to the panel, we noticed that there was a very strong majority that felt that use the cameras as a tool like that, and then the politicians, we dared to use that, and we made it, and that was a successful way of using it. So this is a way for us to, in a very quick way, to feel this suggestion. How is the reaction among people we're having that? So we don't only have to be sitting in a city council and having the discussion of what we believe that people think about these different issues. I believe that making the democracy work, that is the most important task for us, because we have always a discussion that there are those politicians that are living in their own way of living and having the discussions, and they don't know how the life are for us, the rest of the citizen. So that's why we are using this tool to enhance. Maybe I have 1 minute more, then I can tell you about another way. We have a problem in Sweden and maybe in Europe also, housing for young people. The housing is expensive, and they say that you are doing it in a way that is not the best way for the young people. We invited young people, young architects, students and young people on the website to make suggestions how we can, in different parts of our city, build houses for young people. We get 60,000 answers on the web. 60,000 people that are direct. Some are making drawings and plans. Others are verbally telling how to make these. And then we get the contractors. So now they are building some of these also. All is not according to the regulations, so we are violating them a little. But having this feedback from the young people of how to make this solution, that was a wonderful way. Then, of course, we get them the first prize and like that. So this is a way to get young young people to feel that democracy is their way of working with the society. You don't have to be the elected person. The elected person has the obligation to see how you can make the citizens' voice heard in a better way. So with this, thank you very much for your kind attention, and thank you for inviting me here. Thank you, Chair.
Merci, Monsieur REEPALU. Merci à nouveau à Monsieur TAMM. Tous les deux, vous nous avez expliqué des choses qui nous font forcément réagir. Je suis personnellement heureux que ça aille dans le même sens que ce que je vous avais dit tout à l'heure en début de réunion. Beaucoup de nos collègues ont l'air d'être intéressés, d'abord par les applaudissements que vous avez eus, l'un et l'autre. Ensuite, parce qu'il y a déjà 8 d'entre vous qui se sont inscrits pour prendre part au débat. Je vais donc tout de suite donner la parole à Madame Galina Gerega de l'Ukraine et ensuite se prépare Madame Wagenaar-Kroon-Luzet des Pays-Bas.
Уважаемый председатель, уважаемые дамы и господа, современные города – это мини-вселенные, в которой сконцентрирован мощный производственный, ресурсный и инновационный потенциал. Я, как заместитель городского головы Киева, хотела бы рассказать, как городская власть столицы Украины справляется с этой проблемой. Прежде всего, мы сделали ставку на внедрение современных технологий, поэтому первыми в Украине перешли к электронной системе управления городом. В рамках этого проекта в Киеве был создан городской разрешительный центр и центры предоставления административных услуг во всех районах города, которые оснащены новейшим оборудованием и современными электронными системами. Также был создан веб-портал административных услуг, который обеспечивает посетителей полной, актуальной и достоверной информацией о предоставлении админ-услуг и выдаче документов разрешительного характера. Была создана система электронного документооборота и автоматизированного обмена данными между субъектами предоставления административных услуг. Эти шаги позволили нам повысить эффективность взаимодействия местных органов власти с жителями города, предприятиями, учреждениями, организациями, которые получают административные услуги. Повысить прозрачность внутренних административных процессов, улучшить управляемость системы городского управления. И, наконец, позволила сократить расходы на содержание административного аппарата. В ближайшем будущем будут внедрены системы электронной подписи и электронные удостоверения личности, а также будут созданы единые электронные базы данных и реестры инвестиционных проектов. На этом пути мы руководствуемся положительным опытом, который имеют развитые европейские страны, и стремимся к европейским стандартам качества электронных административных услуг. Мы понимаем, что будущее современных городов за новейшими электронными технологиями. И от этого, насколько быстро власть будет реагировать на изменения в этой среде, будет зависеть дальнейшая судьба этих территорий. Благодарю за внимание.
Merci, Madame. Se prépare Madame Anne Besko de la Suède. Et pour l'instant, c'est Madame Wagenaar-Kroon-Luzet des Pays-Bas.
Thank you.
Allez-y. Ah. Laissez. Voilà.
He will keep his finger on it. Thank you, Mr. President. Many municipalities in the Netherlands look at the ways in which social media can contribute to 1, more citizen participation, and 2, a better service delivery towards our inhabitants. The use of social media in Dutch municipalities has increased enormously. In various municipalities, guidelines have been established for the use of social media, and civil servants have been trained to actively use social media. For the purpose of exchanging examples today, I would like to mention 3 examples of social media and citizen participation, and 2 or 3 examples of social media and better service delivery. First of all, examples involving citizens, I would like to mention the use of social media in development of policies. For example, municipalities give citizens a voice in the vision of municipality towards 2030, or wish to have an inclusive and creative process in developing policy. For example, in Leiden, through meetings, a website, Twitter and LinkedIn, cultural entrepreneurs and organizations, people from the city, partners and educational institutions have started a dialogue to develop a cultural policy of the municipality. Particularly through the online media, more young people, it's mentioned before, have been included than that had been the case in earlier discussions. This has led to a coherent and coordinated policy invented by the citizens themselves. Various municipalities, secondly, make use of digital platforms to involve youngsters from the municipality. The municipality asks youngsters if they want to be part of an online panel and provide advices and reactions to plans of the municipality, like our Swedish colleague also stated. This way, their participation in local democracy can increase quite importantly, and new visions can be included in decision-making. Some municipalities organize a tweet-up to Twitter, and guests can help and discuss. Various municipalities have started a weekly hour on Twitter, which inhabitants active on Twitter can pose questions. Various municipalities have their own mobile application apps to improve service delivery. There are also risks using social media if there are no guidelines concerning the use. My own experience in my own council is a debate on Twitter can occur while the discussion in the plenary are still going on. Therefore, discussions on Twitter are not visible for everyone and should be carefully executed and be open. I would be happy to hear more experiences from other countries as well. Thank you, Mr. President.
Merci, Madame. Se prépare Monsieur Jos Winen des Pays-Bas. Pour l'instant, la parole est à Madame Anne Besco de Suède.
Thank you. I have a question for Mr. REEPALU. You told us about your web platform where people can show their opinions. But as you know, there are certain groups in society who do not use modern technology. How do you ensure that the voices of citizens without access to the internet are heard? For example, do you hold public meetings on items which have been debated in the web?
Merci pour cette question précise. La parole donc maintenant est à Monsieur Jos Winen des Pays-Bas. Se prépare ensuite Madame Fleur Bautler du Royaume-Uni. Monsieur Winen.
Yes, thank you. I have a question for Mr. TAMM from Tartu. He ended his speech by inviting us to make a visit to Tartu, and I had the honor to be there 3 years ago in a monitoring visit to Estonia, and I can affirm that it is very nice to visit the city of Tartu. I have one question about your speech. You have given many examples of the use of the electronic, social media, etc. But I'm curious whether you can tell us something about the appreciation of the population from these different means of communication. So, do you have some information about how does the people react on all these initiatives from the city? And maybe you have also, I've understood, the broadcasting of your city council meetings live on the web. And do you have any idea about the reach of that? Are there many people following the meetings, or is it not known? Or so maybe you can give us some information about not the sending, but the receiving of the message.
Merci, Monsieur Winen. Se prépare Madame Barbara Tocce de l'Italie. Pour l'instant, la parole est à Madame Fleur Boutler du Royaume-Uni.
Thank you, Chair. I've been very interested in the Malmö initiative, and I have 3 points that I would like an answer to further enhance my knowledge. It is a very useful tool, but only if it is not hijacked by certain lobby groups. How can you prevent that? Also, can you give us some examples of proposals which gained 100 signatures and resulted in an action being taken by the city? And finally, what is the most signatures that a proposal has actually gained? Thank you, Chair.
Merci. J'apprécie, et je suis sûr que nous apprécions tous, des questions précises posées à nos intervenants et qui mériteront des réponses précises, mais je suis sûr qu'ils nous les donneront volontiers. La parole donc maintenant est à Barbara Tocce de l'Italie, se prépare après M. Dario Gisletta de Suisse. Barbara.
I have a question to Mr. Raimond TAMM. I have heard that Tartu is a pioneer in implementing the use of mobile phones to improve city public services such as transport, neighborhood, watch security, as well as education, health care and municipal maintenance. Can you tell us more about these services and which ones work the best and are most appreciated by the citizens?
Merci Barbara. Après M. Gisletta se prépare M. Marc Kool de Belgique.
Monsieur le Président, chers collègues, le thème est très intéressant, très passionnant, mais très complexe aussi. Alors, je voudrais seulement poser, moi aussi, quelques réflexions et quelques questions. La première, on est dans une période particulière du point de vue démographique. Donc, surtout en Europe, on a une participation de la population âgée et cette population âgée est celle qui participe le plus quand il y a des élections et des votations. Et cette population âgée, elle est un peu à l'écart des nouvelles technologies. Donc, il faut peut-être savoir qu'il y a aussi tout un terrain à avoir à l'esprit. Je ne nie pas, évidemment, le rôle énorme des médias sociaux et des nouvelles technologies et tout ce qui est en phase de préparation. Autre question. Il y a un danger, d'après moi, de voir que les médias sociaux prennent la place d'autres moyens de communication qui sont quand même très importants, la presse, la télévision, la radio, les réunions de partis, les agences différentes, etc. Mais je pense qu'on a des cas juste dans des pays européens où il y a des acteurs politiques qui ne discutent que par les médias sociaux. Donc, on a le dernier exemple, c'est en Italie, où il y a un parti, c'est-à-dire un mouvement, qui dit on ne parle qu'avec les médias sociaux. Ça, c'est un grand problème, et donc, ça serait bien de répondre aussi à ces questions. Merci.
Merci Dario. Se prépare Andrea Pellisari de l'Italie et maintenant c'est M. Marc Kool de Belgique.
Oui, merci Monsieur le Président. Mais nous sommes tous ici partisans évidemment d'être en contact constant avec nos concitoyens et de démocratie participative. Et je me force aussi de le faire dans ma propre commune. Et si je ne le faisais pas, je ne serais sans doute pas élu et réélu depuis 26 ans. Ceci étant, la réalité, nous avons beaucoup de mécanismes en Belgique d'enquête publique sur tous les projets d'urbanisme. Mais les réactions que l'on a de nos concitoyens, je ne sais pas si c'est différent en Suède, à Malmö, c'est quand même parfois des réactions négatives. je suis pour une école ou une crèche, mais évidemment pas dans mon quartier. Je suis pour un bus, mais évidemment pas dans ma rue. Si jamais le bus passe dans ma rue, évidemment, il ne faut pas qu'il s'arrête devant chez moi. C'est quand même parfois ce type de réaction que l'on gère. Alors, on les gère via des réunions publiques. Mais alors, il y a un dialogue. On peut expliquer en quoi le projet n'est pas si mal, qui répond à l'intérêt général. Si on reçoit des pétitions, on peut répondre aux pétitions. Comment gérer ça, notamment, et comment gérer la ville de Malmö, si ça se produit, via les médias sociaux? Parce que là, l'espace que l'on a pour répondre est extrêmement réduit. On parlait de Twitter tantôt. Si quelqu'un fait une phrase, ce projet urbanistique, c'est une monstruosité, comment est-ce qu'on va répondre que ce n'est pas une monstruosité, expliquer et pouvoir détailler? C'est ça que je voudrais un petit peu voir dans cette expérience. Et puis, est-ce qu'il ne faut pas aussi alors, et est-ce qu'il y a ça dans les 2 villes concernées qui nous ont fait des exposés, suffisamment de personnes alors aptes à répondre aux questions? Parce qu'autant c'est facile de donner un accès à l'information via les médias sociaux, autant faire un dialogue via les médias sociaux, c'est évidemment quelque chose de plus difficile. C'était les quelques réflexions et questions que je souhaitais poser, Monsieur le Président.
Merci de ces bonnes questions pratiques. Là, se prépare Monsieur Matej Gombosi de la Slovénie, et pour l'instant la parole est à Andrea Belisari de l'Italie.
Grazie Presidente. L'intervento del collega del Belgio mi ha stimolato perché effettivamente ha parlato di un quesito che è di grande attualità in Italia, ossia c'è effettivamente un partito che tende a superare i canali tradizionali e a tenere un rapporto diretto tramite la rete. Questo può avere dei benefici in quanto consente ai cittadini un contatto diretto, però anche delle difficoltà, perché poi ogni strumento in quanto tale può essere buono per alcune finalità, ma può essere meno buono per altre. Per cui, come è stato detto poc'anzi, è difficile pretendere dai cittadini di votare le delibere di una giunta. Cito per esempio questo caso, visto che la mia è un'esperienza di una città del nord-est dell'Italia che si chiama Arzignano. È difficile pretendere che i cittadini possano esprimersi e votare una delibera, quindi sostanzialmente surrogandosi all'organo che hanno eletto, che è il sindaco, la sua giunta e il suo consiglio. Però è evidente che questa interazione, che è quello tipico della declinazione web 2.0, è il futuro e può essere un grande servizio per la democrazia, per cui mi sento totalmente allineato con lo spirito di questo dibattito che stiamo svolgendo oggi. Dico poi che i social media possono essere molto preziosi, per esempio sul tema della protezione civile. Noi 2 giorni fa abbiamo avuto un terremoto, una piccola scossa, ma i cittadini sono abituati ad avere informazioni dirette da parte del comune, in questo caso la mia città, che attraverso l'account di Twitter e di Facebook dà indicazioni su ciò che sta accadendo, così come nel caso delle nevicate che dalle nostre parti possono provocare dei disagi sulle strade e i cittadini sono in grado di sapere dove sono gli spargisale, i mezzi che aprono le strade e se il giorno dopo ci saranno le scuole aperte oppure no. Si sono abituati e stanno dando una grande risposta, apprezzando anche il fatto che il primo cittadino e i suoi collaboratori ci mettano direttamente alla faccia e siano disposti anche a farsi criticare online. Tanto c'è una sorta di netiquette nella comunità dei social media, che immagino voi conoscerete, che tende ad isolare chi utilizza in maniera strumentale questo strumento e viene considerato quello che in gergo viene chiamato un troll, cioè chi semplicemente ha come scopo di rompere le scatole. Quindi la trasparenza paga, ma non si può pensare che il 2.0 sia la panacea di tutti i mali su cui la pubblica amministrazione deve darsi da fare, deve trovare delle soluzioni. Allora, innanzitutto volevo congratularmi con gli interventi di 2 relatori e le loro esperienze, ce le stavamo già guardando io e il collega di San Marino che è qui di fianco, attraverso i loro siti e attraverso il link EU Participation che ci hanno sottolineato. Anzi, abbiamo già chiesto anche ai nostri collaboratori in Italia di mandare la loro esperienza e, perché no, mettere a disposizione le nostre pratiche. Invito tutti i colleghi a diventare amici della città di Arzignano, lo troverete su Facebook e su Twitter, e noi impareremo da voi qualche buona esperienza di cui i nostri cittadini potranno giovarsi. Concludo infine dicendo che il problema se lo pongono soprattutto i più giovani, i cosiddetti nativi digitali. i quali pensano che la pubblica amministrazione e i loro rappresentanti non possono più pensare di interpretare il loro rapporto con i cittadini come era anche semplicemente 5-6 anni fa, altrimenti c'è il rischio di diventare dei busti da museo, di essere omaggiati nei musei ma di non essere in linea con loro che sono abituati a viaggiare e a fare molte cose tramite la rete. Grazie per l'attenzione.
Merci. Il y a eu beaucoup plus d'inscrits, il y en aura 12 en tout, il y en a encore 3 à passer. Je vous demande de bien respecter... Ah, alors ça fera 4 avec Gaillet. Oui. Ça fera 4. Je vous demande de bien respecter le temps pour qu'on laisse à nos 2 intervenants de tout à l'heure toute la possibilité de répondre à ces nombreuses questions. Alors la personne suivante à intervenir, c'est monsieur Gombosi, et se prépare monsieur Vittorio Broccoli de Saint-Marin.
Hello. Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Matej Gombosi, and I'm a mayor of municipality Beltinci in Slovenia. It's a rather smaller municipality with a bit under 9,000 people. And my professional background is exactly this field, IT. I'm glad that this interesting matter is on the agenda of our Chamber of Local Authorities, and my compliments to the city of Tartu and Malmö, and also to all other speakers. I would like to share just a few of my thoughts. We all know that IT can improve the way a city functions in multitude of ways. We can improve the efficiency of municipal organization and the employees, better information flow, openness and access to information. We can also improve the work of the council, save cost and energy by introduction of e-communication, paperless work. No more big archive rooms for tons of documentation. We did that 2 years ago in Beltinci. The most important, we can give new services, especially e-services, e-solutions to our people. In this era of IT, social networks and so on, many people like and look for services over the internet. I see very many of colleagues here in the room with laptops, tablets and other electronic gadgets. And we know that there are great opportunities also for municipalities, because they have a large amounts of data, many forms to be filled usually. If we can take this work off of the shoulders of our people and give them smart services with gathered information from different sources, their work is minimal and very easy. Besides that, people need access to information about the work of the council, mayor, the whole municipality. We also can give them access to all municipal information important for them, like spatial plans, ongoing projects, and so forth. And we can also give them possibility of inclusion via interactive communication, e-government, whether in case of communicating municipal problems, comments, suggestions, and also in the case of their views on draft papers. This can be more and more also via mobile way. We know the phones are getting smarter by the day. In our municipality, Beltinci in Slovenia, we try to introduce such services step by step to help our people and also employees on the way to the smartest city. We try to take part in projects, also European ones. We know EU funds are needed to easily implement new technologies. One of the last free e-services is a joint project with the Faculty of Computer Science to give all people in municipality accurate calculation on the amount of energy they can use on their roofs, buildings and parcels. Also the rate of return for their green investment. All is based on very accurate air radar measurements on the whole municipality, taking into account shadows, neighboring buildings, trees, hills, power of the sun, time of the year and weather. We will automatically, visually and interactively be able to show where in our municipality is a good place for solar investments. So I'm very glad to exchange views and experience with all of you and look forward to take future opportunities together. Smart technologies are here and they are presenting new and new possibilities. Let's use them wisely and let's use them together. Thank you.
Merci. Se prépare Monsieur Wrobel de Pologne et pour l'instant c'est Monsieur Broccoli de Saint-Marin.
Sì. Grazie Presidente. Dunque, io sono di San Marino, di un piccolo comune chiamato Chiesa Nuova e appunto mi occupo nel comune, sono un consigliere di giunta e noi dal 2009, da quando ci siamo insediati, abbiamo intrapreso una serie di attività per coinvolgere i cittadini, attività principalmente offline, ovvero di diretto contatto con i cittadini, quindi attraverso eventi sociali, attraverso incontri pubblici per cercare di sensibilizzare al meglio la cittadinanza. Inoltre io stesso ho anche creato attraverso attività online, mi sono occupato della creazione, della gestione della pagina Facebook del Comune in cui abbiamo condiviso quelli che sono appunto gli eventi, le nostre attività anche appunto sul web attraverso non solo la pagina Facebook, attraverso un sito internet, eccetera. E quello che volevo chiedere è quali sono, diciamo, come cercare di raggiungere e coinvolgere, perché abbiamo una parte di popolazione, di giovani che ci segue, comunque che ci condivide, anzi appunto ci promuove. E invece c'è una parte di popolazione che è più analfabeta, quindi è lontana da quello che è il mondo web, da quello che è il mondo internet. Non solo gli anziani, ma anche appunto persone magari che non hanno più grandi, ma non hanno appunto non sono abituate a utilizzare internet. Quindi quali sono gli strumenti, le attività per coinvolgere questa parte di popolazione che è lontana dal mondo web? Grazie.
Merci. Se prépare pour après Gaye Doganoglu. Et maintenant la parole est à Monsieur Wrobel de Pologne.
Dear colleagues, I appreciate the examples given by colleagues from Sweden and Estonia. In Poland we have many cities which aspire to being smart cities. Projects which are realized in these cities concern these areas. Smart management of car traffic, smart management of public transport, smart public safety system. The implementation of public safety system has caused many problems. The system is based on the digital registration of people and things, and that is why arises the issue of personal data protection. Because of the personal data protection, this system can be used only by police and municipal police. If the system is to be efficient, it should be available also for the other municipal service. We are about to introduce changes in Polish law concerning these issues. Can you give us any practical suggestion in this field? Thank you for your attention.
Merci, Monsieur Wrobel. Dernière intervenante, Gaye Doganoglu.
Thank you, President. I'll be very brief. First of all, I would like to congratulate all my smart colleagues, because we are all the authorities of the local, responsible people for the local authorities who are using all this smart technology. I have a very small proposal. After listening all the lovely inventions and all the facilities of the city of Malmö, the city of from Estonia, and all my colleagues, I would like to propose that we, in order to communicate, e-communicate, Twitter communicate, we have to inform our Twitter address to the Secretariat of the Congress, and then on the page of the Who is Who, there should be the address of the Twitter. Otherwise, I cannot easily reach to the city of Italy or to the city of the other Estonian city. So this is my proposal. Please, in order to communicate, let's organize our network within each other.
Merci. Alors, nous allons demander à nos deux intervenants s'ils peuvent répondre à un certain nombre de questions qui ont été posées. C'était plus dense que ce que nous avions prévu. Nous avons donc atteint l'heure de midi, mais nous allons quand même continuer à votre rythme, à vous deux. Monsieur TAMM, vous commencez ?
Yeah, thank you very much for the possibility to answer the questions. So I will start from the beginning. The first question was how people have actually appreciated all those modern services. And just to give the very simple answers, actually we are starting to discuss with people the importance of the service already before we are starting to work it out. Because if people really do need the service, then we just, let's say, apply all the measures and start to work on the conception of the service and etc. For the first, we are asking people, do you really need that service? And then the next one, how many people are actually following the city council meetings? It depends, of course, on the meetings, and it depends on the topics, what are handled during the meetings. But for sure, the possibility to follow the meetings over web have increased the participation. It has been always hundreds of people, but in some cases it has extended up to 1,000 people who are following the city council meetings. If you recall, I said we have 100,000 people living in Tartu, so it might be up to 1% of people who are, let's say, following the city council meeting. So I think it's quite a good result. Then another question about the services, what we have implemented in Tartu, and I will just give a few samples. The first one is M-Teacher, which is a mobile service. And the goal of the service is to simplify and foster the dialogue between school and home, teachers and parents. All schools in Tartu are involved in M-Teacher project at the moment, and the schools or teachers are interested in continuing the project. It gives actually the teachers a possibility to use a simple but powerful web-based interface for sending messages to the parents. And the messages might be whatever actually. I will just bring a couple of samples. For example, information about school-related trips and events, also about the child's advance in school. So it's a very simple but powerful tool to use, and it's very easy to improve, let's say, communication between teachers and the parents. So we are also trying to expand it actually to the kindergartens. The next service I'm going to speak about is Neighborhood Watch, and it means that taxi and bus drivers, security companies and other active people can participate by receiving SMS notifications on issues that require watchful eyes, like missing people, stolen cars, for example. And the messages are sent by Police Control Center, and all Tartu taxi, bus and security companies are included in this project. It hasn't been used, of course, dozens of times a day, but it's, when it's used, then it's quite effective. We have found people, we have found also stolen cars, etc. Then the next one could be mobile bus ticket. We have ID card-based ticketing system, which also includes paying for bus tickets via mobile phone. In order to buy an ID ticket, you simply have to use a mobile phone and dial some certain number, and then after that the ticket is bought. So I think this kind of services also are implemented in many other municipalities. What we also have is a municipal maintenance hotline, and it means that we have a number 1789, which is very well known by the citizens in Tartu. And anytime they see a dark street light, for example, or trash can, or a full trash can, or broken park bench, or a hole in the pavement, they can send an SMS to the number, and the phone calls and also SMSs are forwarded to offices to whom it may concern. So citizens basically need to remember only one number, and they can send whatever information they would like city government to receive. So those are the samples of the M services, what we currently have in Tartu. We have, of course, many more. And one is a really interesting one also. For example, in the public sports park, we have a lights-on demand system. It means that if somebody would like to ski after 11 o'clock p.m., for example, or after 10 o'clock p.m. in the public sports park, it's possible to simply send an SMS and the lights will go on automatically, so they don't have to ski in the darkness. So it's one of the, let's say, smart services, but it's not so often used, but still it's giving the people a possibility to expand their activities. And just to have a few more comments, what about those people who are not really using E&M services? In Tartu, we have decided that definitely we have to keep alive in parallel also traditional ways of communication, so public meetings, debates, also possibility to express written opinions by normal mail, etc. It's definitely needed to let's say, give us a possibility also for people who are not using internet or mobile phones so intensively. So you never should forget about those people. And about social media, like I stressed also in my speech, social media is giving people much more power. And it's, in one hand, very dangerous also. Because, for example, we have a few samples in Estonia when politicians didn't react to the comments or messages coming from the social media. And the people really were gathering, like, in one case it was 40,000 people who gathered in the social media, and they really criticized the activities of the politician, and it's really a powerful tool. Especially Facebook is very well spread in Estonia, so I think in many other countries also. But it's a very, very powerful tool nowadays to use, and it's also very dangerous. The public institutions and local municipalities have to appreciate it's a powerful tool, and you should never neglect it. Thank you very much.
Merci, Monsieur TAMM. Si on vous laissait la parole, vous l'auriez encore gardé un grand moment parce que vous avez beaucoup de choses à dire. Mais il faut me donner la parole à Monsieur REEPALU.
I should like to answer a few of the questions also that I got. First of all, it's very important to understand that democracy is not only the decision-making process. What we are talking about here is how are we working before we are coming to the decision? How are we getting people heard? How are we formulating the problem that we are going to solve? How are we generating the different solutions? And how is the election process of what solutions we are going to discuss in the city committee or in the city council? That is where we are making democracy work. And we are showing here, I think both from Tartu and from the city of Malmö, that this is a way that we can get more people participant in that process. Of course, Ann Beskov asked, how is it with this Malmö panel? All the people don't have the computers and they are not used to use the computers. Of course it's like that, especially elderly people. So that means that some people that are in the Malmö panel also get the questions on paper and the answer on paper. But of course the Malmö initiative, that is on the web. There you can't use it, the paper. And there was another question, how can you hinder that is misused, the system? Of course, people that want to have a discussion, they have their EP number and like that. Most of them, they are working with their names so that they want to have contacts later on. And you can say that the virtual reality or having virtual meetings with people, that make people feel that they want to have the real meetings. The real meetings are much better, of course, where they have the dialogue, where you can listen to many people. So that enhances also the political meetings, where you can have people to come together, to have the discussion together. So this is a sort of early way of making people more interested in taking part of how we are running a city or how we are running the country. We also heard about, I think it was in Belgium, about the participation when we are making the master plans for the coming 20 or 30 years. Of course, these plans, they are visions, of course, because if you make a plan, it's old-fashioned when it comes on like a book or something like that. The vision, taking part of that vision, these are the people that are the future. They are the young people. They are going to live in that society. It's so important to raise the questions in the schools, to make special projects in the schools on what sort of society do you want to have in 10 years or 20 years. And in that way also you raise the awareness of the democratic way of running the society, to listen to each other. Because democracy is never to find the ideal solution. It's always to find the quasi-solutions. It's about listening to other people and make compromises that is good for all the different parts of the society. And that you must be trained to. The digital society, that is very quick, but that is 1 or 0. It's black or white, and that is not the way that the democracy is working. But there are a lot of nuances between that, and I think that this is not the solution. This is a tool for making people to be more participatory in the democratic process, because I think that we are in a period that is today very full of problems with all the financial problems, unemployment problems that are facing people, and they must feel that they are included in the society. They count. They are a part of formulating the future.
Merci, messieurs. Vous me permettrez simplement, mesdames et messieurs, pardon, vous me permettrez de prendre